Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today is Thursday, March 25th, 2021, and this is my Sabian symbol astrological outlook for the day. So today, you guys, this whole week is a huge week astrologically. We have some major transits going on, and the fact that they're going on as we're moving through the Pisces cycle, the last cycle of the astrological year, headed towards the new moon in Aries that's going to start it all off with a bang. And we'll talk about that today. It's crazy. We have so much going on to help us get to where we need to get to by the new moon in Aries. All the energetics ever since the new moon in Pisces have been super specific in guiding us in terms of what universe is challenging us with and expecting us and offering us the opportunities to do and blessing us with tremendous gifts and opportunities and insights to really get in touch with who we are at a soul level and be able to cultivate that, nurture it, evolve it, grow it, and bring it out into the world to create tangible manifestations with it that can propel our lives forward. And the planets have been very specific about implementing these types of techniques as we move towards the new moon in Aries, which will be the official kickoff into Second Renaissance and the New World and the Age of Aquarius. And today is another big day. Yesterday was a huge day because we had the Mercury in Pisces square to the Mars in Gemini, conjunct the North Node, in trine with Saturn in Aquarius. And if you watched my video yesterday, I talked all about what that means, what it's trying to do for us, and how it's helping our souls to progress to the point that universe is trying to bring them as we collectively enter this next age of Aquarius with the new moon in Aries. And let's talk about what's going on today. So yesterday, big day, we had the Mars Mercury square, and the North Node obviously is in Gemini. So Mercury is a very big deal planet right now because of the placement of Mars and the North Node in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury was the planet involved in that. And so that energy yesterday specifically was about creating tension in terms of our actions and ideas, thoughts versus actions, Mercury versus Mars, and trying to get us to put down old thought patterns and old ways of thinking and behaving and communicating and embrace the skills that we've been cultivating. That Mars is still at the degree of famous pianist giving a concert performance, learning to cultivate and bring out our inner gifts so that we can show them off to the world and perform the symphony of our soul and use that to make the baseline of our life going forward. So that was what was going on yesterday. Big deal. Now today, big deal again. We have a very beautiful aspect going on today, and it is the exact conjunction of Venus and the Sun. This happens usually once a year, and this time it's actually like drawn out over a couple days. Venus and the Sun will be in a pretty exact conjunction actually for a couple days. They're going to move together over the next couple days. But today, March 25th, is the day that they first come exact, and it is at 6 degrees of Aries, and obviously that's the degree of the Sun today. And so let's talk about the Sabians, shall we? Yes, we shall, because that's the whole point of this channel, to use the Sabian astrologies, the Sabian symbols, to help us understand more clearly in terms of Western astrology what the planets are trying to help us achieve in our evolution of our consciousness as we move through time and space into what is coming for us, our destiny, the North Node. 6 degrees of Aries, a square brightly lighted on one side. And of course, then we have the Earth at 6 degrees of Libra. A man watches his ideals taking a concrete form before his inner vision. So, yet again today, we have the Earth, which is our grounding, the ground, the foundation that we stand on and what we have to build with. A man watches his ideals taking a concrete form before his inner vision. So that is asking us, or saying that we have the resources, the earth, this is what we're building with, is the same thing that was happening at the new moon. Because a man watching his ideals take a concrete form before his inner vision, that is basically the same thing as Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces. That's what Venus and Neptune together do, is help bring the highest ideals of beauty into concrete manifest form. And that's literally exactly what the Earth is symbolizing today, as Venus opposes it in conjunction with the Sun. The fullest light, the fullest expression, the fusion of all of the Venusian qualities and all of the qualities of the Sun raining down on us today. So it really should be quite a peaceful, harmonious, pleasant day generally for everyone. And Venus and the Sun also they put a highlight on money and relationships for sure. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through this. But first I want to talk about just the degree, the square brightly lighted on one side, okay? So when I was thinking about this degree, I wrote a square brightly lighted on one side. So the first thing that I think about when I think of this degree is having the ability to think outside of a box, thinking outside of the box, because we're talking about a box, a square. Squares produce stability and structure, and the number 4 in numerology is a lot to do with structure and stability. And so that's kind of the dynamic of just the 4-sided object altogether, but it's brightly lighted on one side. So creative opportunities and potential, creative solutions to problems, being guided and inspired and shown the way out and above or through, stability, the square, through divine guidance, the light, or following and going toward the light. The square is brightly lighted on one side. Looking for solutions outside the box. And also this could be very much in terms of finances, resources, money, material things. Any issues surrounding those type of things, we should look for solutions where a light is shown. Look for this is another degree that indicates signs and synchronicities and divine inspirations and following intuition and messages, insights, synchronicities, like all of that, because it's a square, but it's lighted on one side. So we look to the light. We follow the light. And in terms of Venus and the Sun being there, that could be the solution to financial or relationship issues, opening to divine guidance, looking outside the box, and just looking for unique, creative, illuminating solutions. That's the energetic that this resonates to in this case, in my opinion. So that's a big deal today. The Sun conjunct Venus. And depending on where this is happening in your chart, like depending on what house it's happening in for you, it can create different effects. But generally, all of us should receive some type of just blessings, peace, nice things, luxury, comfort, those type of experiences. Just looking really nice, getting compliments, like just people generally being kind, those type of things I would expect people to experience more than normal on the day that Mercury or that Venus conjuncts the sun. Also, though, this really big spike in money, love, luxury item, Venetian type qualities, it's a really good day to experience those things when the sun and Venus are in exact conjunction like they are. However, sometimes under this aspect, those things are not long lived, because once Venus moves out of exact conjunction with the sun, she becomes what's called combust, which changes the way she operates a little bit and makes her not as strong as she is when she's just in her natural state and she's not being like burned by being so close to the sun. So that is just something to keep in mind, that it might be a really, really great few days, but not necessarily super long lasting, whatever beautiful things come during this time. You know, if you start a new relationship under this aspect, it might be amazing, you know, for the first few days, but then just kind of like fizzle out, stuff like that. And also, like I said yesterday, we really, really, really should be watching the markets right now, because Venus conjunct the sun in and of themselves with Uranus in Taurus, and Venus rules Taurus right now, shocks and surprises and possibly like big gains in money situations over the next couple of days while Venus and the sun are conjunct. But again, be careful, because they could significantly take a downturn quickly following after that. So that is just something to be aware of, keep an eye on. Also, Venus conjunct the sun is very good for business, very good for contracts, purchase expensive luxury purchases. Yeah, really good for making big purchases. Like if you're gonna go buy a car, do it when Venus is exactly conjunct the sun, or like a yacht or a boat, or like some really expensive jewelry. Very good time to do stuff like this. Also, like cosmetic procedures and like whatever you want to do, if you're doing any type of beauty procedures or anything like that, it's a really good day for anything oriented around beauty, wealth, luxury, comfort. Like I said, it's a really good day to take like to go pamper yourself or take a little trip. So yes, those type of things are what we are dealing with when the sun is conjunct Venus. And another thing that I wanted to say about just this whole thing generally is, of course, it's happening in Aries. And who's the ruler of Aries? Mars is the ruler of Aries. And what is Mars doing right now? Mars is 1 degree out from conjuncting the North Node. So what that means in astrological language is that this Sun-Venus conjunction in Aries is very much related to actions that are taking place to align us individually and collectively with our destinies based on where we're at karmatically at this point. So what the conjunction does for us today is directly related to our destinies as well, and to the big launch, I guess you could say, of the new dynamic that's coming. And this has a lot to do with changing belief systems, receiving insane amounts of new information, and being open to changing and movable thought patterns and perspectives, and just generally ways of relating with reality on a cognitive level. So it's just a big deal, and it's beautiful. The sun and Venus, just happy, beautiful energy. Another dose of it, we had that amazing Venus, Neptune, new moon energy throughout the course of this entire cycle because of the placement of Venus at the new moon. And now we get to have the Venus-Sun conjunction in Aries, which is helping us move towards our individual and collective destinies. So it's a big deal. That's what's going on today. All right, so we've covered the Sun-Venus conjunction for today. We've talked about the degree that it's happening at, 6 Aries, a square brightly lighted on one side, looking for divine inspiration to create out-of-the-box solutions to solve problems related to money, finances, material possessions, relationships, resources, generally. That is what that energetic is helping us with today. And also just showing us and lighting up the alternate path. 3/4 of the sides are the same, and then there's the one that's lighted. So showing us the way. So pay attention to what happens today. Pay attention to what happens today with money, markets, relationships, and just generally all things themed Venus. And anything that there's a light shown on in terms of those things, pay very good attention to that, because that is most likely our way forward. And, that could take any circumstance or situation or scenario. So that's that. Now, and I talked about that being there. Okay, next, I just want to talk real quick. Jupiter's changing degrees today, and we have the moon in opposition to Jupiter while it's changing degrees. The moon is in Leo, and Jupiter is moving from 22 degrees of Aquarius, which is a rug placed on the floor for children to play, to 23 degrees of Aquarius, which is a big bear sitting down, waving all its paws. So this is quite a change in energy that we'll be feeling today. And my baby just brought me some flowers. We have daffodils growing outside, and he picked some and brought them for me. Aren't they pretty? I actually have these all over my house, and they smell so good. I love fresh flowers. So in 23 degrees, yes, a big bear waving all of its paws. So, and we have the moon opposing Jupiter today. So, as we go to Jupiter in this degree, to me, I feel like this is like internal protective instincts activated in a big way collectively. And people are going to become like very serious about defending their territories and protecting their own on an instinctual level while this transit is in effect. And so I think that because it's Jupiter, and Jupiter expands everything. So, and with the moon there, don't be surprised if people are very emotionally instinctual and defensive and protective over what they value and what they consider their territory over the next week or so as Jupiter discharges this degree, but especially today with the moon opposing it. So just, something to keep in mind. Moon opposite Jupiter, Jupiter moving to a big bear waving all of its paws. That is about defending one's territory instinctually, protecting one's environment. And moon emotions, feelings in opposition, so that basic dynamic is what I'm saying. to just be aware of for the moon today. Next, we have Mercury in a square with the North Node today. We had Mercury in square with Mars yesterday, and today we have Mercury squaring the nodes in Gemini. And with Mercury squaring the nodes in Gemini, that is Mercury rules Gemini. So, and the North Node is in Mercury's sign. So it's really all about Mercury. And Mercury is in Pisces, asking us to let go of old ideas, to release old ideas, and to kind of merge into a greater spiritual understanding of things. And so with the square to the North Node, it's almost like at this point, there could be a lot of conflict because there's just so much Gemini and Mercury involved in this. A lot of conflict in ideas, thoughts, communications, messages not resonating with where we feel we should be going. Now, a lot of times we have to keep in mind, we as humans kind of like have an idea in our mind of what our destiny should be, or what we would like it to be, or what we think that we deserve it to be. But that's not necessarily what universe or spirit or our soul wants for us. And that comes back to the degree of Saturn right now. In a quiet moment, a man receives divine guidance, divine inspiration that may change his life, really quieting our minds and getting in touch with our inner child and the true nature of our soul, our true talents and the things that we're passionate about and interested in, and figuring out how we can really like use those to create a life based around who we actually are. And with Mercury in square today to the North Node in Gemini, there could just be some friction today in terms of how we think, what our thoughts are, what our ideas are, and where life and our soul path is actually trying to take us. There could be some resistance today. So just something to keep in mind. And with Mars right there also, again, that's heat, that's intensity, that's frustration, anger, and also depression. But it's also being really inspired and really enthusiastic and having a lot of motivation and tons of willpower. So there's definite high octaves for this too. Also, like I said yesterday, anything that you're putting a lot of mental energy into right now has tremendous staying power and a tremendous ability to have longevity and to really turn out to be something that is important and meaningful for your future and your destiny and your path. So using mental energy constructively is a very good use of the energy for today. And just this transit generally as we move through the towards the full moon, which will be happening in a few days. Finally, we do have, I need to say this again, we have Mars coming into exact conjunction with the North Node tomorrow. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, we had Mercury exactly square to Mars in Gemini, and then we have Venus exactly conjunct the Sun, and then we have Mars exactly conjunct the North Node. And tomorrow is going to be like even crazier, because tomorrow we will have Venus and the Sun still cazimi, which is still at the same degree, and we will have Mars cazimi exact conjunct the North Node. And Venus and the Sun are in Aries, ruled by Mars, and Mars is with the North Node. So tomorrow is going to be another really big day. This is a really big week. Pay attention to what's going on this week, because what we see play out this week is giving us signals and indications for what is going to be coming in the future. the square brightly lighted on one side. Look for the spotlight. Look for what's in the spotlight this week. And with that, I guess I'm going to close this video down. 25 minutes. I just can't do it faster. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you got something interesting and entertaining or whatever out of this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And I'll see you guys back tomorrow for our super, 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 super big important day of Mars conjunct the North Node. That is the springboard. Everything is going to take off tomorrow. See you guys then. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching.